You guys. Hi, you guys. Today is June 3rd, 2024. We are gathering at 6:37. We are gathering our CPC parent committee and Aho Nanukiasa Samaks, Subkacha Muklux, all my relations. Thank you, my family and my friends, for joining us tonight. And yeah, thank you for this beautiful day. What a beautiful day and beautiful weather. And thank you for Lulashi Ambu, our sacred water, being blessed with that sacred rain. That was so needed and really made a special weekend for us all. So thank you everyone for being here and being together this evening. And would anyone else like to say anything for the prayer? Join in on it? No? Alrighty. Then thank you, Subkacha.
I think Philip
we're
is
gonna go
trying
ahead.
to unmute. Philip, are you trying to unmute
Okay.
to add? Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. It doesn't show up
There.
for me like that.
Hey, I was wondering if I can offer up a song. Hello,
Hi.
everybody here today. And
Hi.
if that's okay.
Yes, please.
Kasha wa kantan ka unshun lapo. Makasa tumna na makpeta ke na makochi taki a Hawaii. En particular, tunkasha tawokuze. Ni tra olwankia chaweksuya awahi ainkitela ho hechetuelo. Iwaye lo tunkashi lai onshe malayo Iwaye lo tunkashi lai Makakile anka oteka otayeloi mitaku ye yota wokaki je hamani pelo iwayeloi tunkashi bai Oshe malayo wani wachielo This is my grandfather. I have something important to say. My relatives right here on these grounds right here, they carry the burdens of the people, all of their family. So this is I want to thrive, and that's what have compassion on. And that's what it translates to in Lakota language. Aho, Mitaka.
Oh, Subkacha. Thank you. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Okay.
Would anybody else like to add or say anything?
Oops. Whoops, what happened? What happened?
Oh. Anybody else? No? Alrighty, you guys. Then we are going to move forward with introductions. I will go ahead and start. Hi, I'm Echo Miller. I am enrolled in Klamath Tribe. I am Modokni and Paiute Yahuskin. I'm also many others. And I'm proud mother of 4 and daughters, and I'm very active in my Indigenous community, and I'm also co-chair for the Indian Educational Parent Committee here. So, hi guys, and we'll just go down the line. It looks like Philip, you're still on there. You want to go next? Your mic's off.
Hello?
Oh, there you are.
And also,
Oh,
after your introduction, if you could share, this is our last meeting for the year. So if you could share a favorite memory of Indian Ed from this school year, that'd be great, just for us, our reflection times. Thanks, Philip.
Okay.
Well, hello, my name is Philip Downey, and this is my wife, Vanessa Ptacek. And on my mom's side, I'm Lakotsu, and on my dad's side, I'm like Scottish. On my mom's side too, I'm like French, all this, but I began learning about my culture as a young adult and language and singing and powwows and all that, and learning also about our foods. And me and my wife came together and with her skills in food, we decided to come together to form Nourish Indigenous Kitchen and to offer up our indigenous styles of cooking. And so thankful for to be of service to the community and to watch how the community thrives has been a real blessing. And for me, the watching the graduations has been actually that was really special, and just looking forward to more getting to see everybody and being available to offer our services too. And then Vanessa, here you go.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Patasek. Your partner here, Philip, our little dog Skuya, which most of you have met. Gosh, it was just, the graduation was one of the few times that we were able to join in this year. And now that we are starting to meet more people in the community, we certainly look forward to next year. Those little kindergartners sure touched my heart. And I thought that was so special, the multi-generational aspect of the graduating seniors welcoming in the new. It's just such a beautiful like enactment of the cycle of life. And yeah, you guys get to see those guys all through their life, how special. And it was just real special to be a part of it in a small way, of bringing some good first foods. So thank you, Teresa and Jassy, for including us.
Oh. For the next person. You just press it.
Teresa, do you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. I'm Teresa Cisneros. I am one of the Indian education facilitators. I am Carrizo Come Crudo Nation of Texas. We are not a federally recognized tribe, and I am on my father's side of the family. That's my mother's side primarily. On my mother's side of the family, I'm in my father's side of the family, I'm Lipan and Mescalero Apache descendant. And it's hard to just pick one favorite thing. There was so many really good things. But I will have to say the one that touched my heart the most was the graduation, because that's what I had envisioned for years. And we finally did it. It was really exciting. And I can imagine that we will be able to continue doing that, and that it's going to continue to grow. I went to graduations. I went to 3 graduations last week, and you can just tell the difference. And my heart is full, and I'm feeling very proud. And I also feel like I got, more energy to do more work, because doing this work in the education system can be difficult. And I got re-upped in the energy. I was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm here for. Okay, got it. So thank you.
JC, it looks like you're next going down the line.
Alrighty, thank you. Hi everyone, my name's JC Swig. I am Lakota Ayate. I'm a member of the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe, and I'm also a descendant of Hunkpapa Lakota Standing Rock. And I am the other Indian education facilitator, mostly Josephine County. My favorite memory is also the graduation event. It's our most recent event that we had, but also it was just really special to have it with an Indigenous perspective. So we had Indigenous keynote speakers, we had drum honoring songs, we had elders do a blanket ceremony for our graduates, and then but Venetia said, you know, having the intergenerational, you know, and it was just so beautiful. The food, the vibe, you know, we had such a great turnout. It was just absolutely beautiful. And that's going to be my favorite memory for the whole school year for sure. And next for me is Angelica.
Hi everyone, my name is Angelica Marbain. On my mom's side, I'm from legacy of colonization and mixed indigenous ancestry. She's from Guatemala. And on my dad's side, I'm Ashkenazi Jew from Eastern Europe. My daughters here are well members of the Dene Nation and they're Zapotec. This year, I really enjoyed the powwow. I was so happy to see my daughter dance for the first time, and she just rocked it. She was awesome. She was just went out there and did her thing and really looked like she enjoyed herself and got to share some of her dancing and culture with a really good friend. And so it was just a total proud mama moment for me. I don't know who's next because my order probably looks different than everyone else's on the screen. So
I think Jackie. Check next.
Hi, Kuiskuyen next now, Jackie Holhauser. Hello, good evening. My name is Jackie Holhauser. I am the treasurer of the Consortium Parent Committee. I am a member of the Yurok tribe with Cherokee and Choctaw descent from both sides. My dad, Cherokee from my dad's side and Cherokee and Choctaw from my mom's side. My favorite thing this year has just been community building, just being able to have that community. Like especially having that community within like the last few weeks, like with stuff that's been going on in my family and with people I know. So having that like that support has been really, really big to help keep me in a stable headspace. So thank you for that.
Jemiah.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yep.
I'm at football practice. Hi, Queen. My name is Jemiah. I'm Yurok and Hoopa, and I have 4 children who are Yurok, Hoopa, and Karuk. And my favorite part was probably the graduation as well.
Jemiah, what is your role on the CPC?
My role is parent community member for Josephine County.
Yeah.
I forgot to say mine too. I'm the co-chair for Jackson County.
It looks like we have a Jesse and a Randall next, or Jesse or Randall, whichever one of you guys, your last two.
I'll go if that's all right. My name is Randall McAllister. I'm a Karuk descendant. I'm on the roll. I am on the I'm a parent member for Jackson County. Um, my favorite thing this year was the powwow. I've never been to one, but seeing all the hard work that was put into the SOU powwow was amazing. And I'm actually looking forward to it for next year and seeing how much I can help with any of the ribbon shirts or getting my medallions out there to try and see if they can dance too. Um, that was probably my biggest. And then uh, learning how to bead. That was amazing for me. I've been doing it for 3 months, and my medallions are going to be featured in some of the fashion show that Keely's putting on. So looking forward to that too.
My name is, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
My name is Jessie. This is the first meeting I've attended. I just enrolled the kids in the program in Jackson County. I'm Karuk and Shaston, and I just want to get more involved in what the tribes are doing around here. Recently, I became a CASA for ICWA and for non-ICWA. And I'm going to SOU for Human Services and Psychology.
Welcome, Jessie. I think I spoke to you on the phone, I want to say. So hi, JC. It's nice to see your face. I should FaceTime people when I call them to welcome them to our program. So I'm like, hey, you know.
Yeah, I was like, I wouldn't have been able to recognize you from your voice, but
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, I know I sound much older and wiser. So we have one more. This is, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. What's my role? I'm the youth leader for Josephine County. And my favorite part of the year was the powwow.
That was really amazing to have so many first-time dancers. It was really cool and special. And also, Alyssa will have to do a special election for next year because Alyssa has graduated. And in our bylaws, it states must be a current Indian education student. So we will be recruiting for Alyssa's spot next year. But she's served us well. So thank you so much, Alyssa, for all you've done.
Aww. Gonna miss you. Oh, well, that was beautiful, everyone. And thank you so much. What incredible. And thank you, JC, for inspiring us to communicate that with each other, like what was our favorites, because it's so beautiful to get to hear everyone, got to enjoy such beautiful memories together. And yeah, my favorite was probably the powwow. I absolutely adored all the children in their regalias for the first time. And I think it was Alyssa and Lyra's first time and their new regalias. Dancers that have been dancing for quite a while before, getting to see them in their new regalias and just all the energy of it. And like Randall said, all the hard work and effort that goes into these powwows. This last weekend, it took a giant group of people to pull together and make that powwow happen. And it was so emotional and so many tears and prayers and so powerful and so inspiring that our culture and community is so strong and resilient and just empowering. And so, yeah, very grateful for our community as well. You guys are awesome. Let's see. And so we are going to move forward. We had amazing introductions, you guys, beautiful blessings. Thank you so much. We are going to now enter into the budget category and go over that real quick. I know I had a couple of questions. JC, do you or Teresa want to start on the questionings and the talking and then us kind of throw in questions, or how would you like to go from there?
I was thinking that we could share what the budget looks like right this minute, like as of today. And you can see how it is spent, and then we can forward this document to each of the CPC members. So you can see how our funds are being spent, and what we have left and what's going to happen. There are going to be some adjustments made, but I can explain that. So, and I'm in my car, so JC is helping me.
Teamwork.
Yeah, exactly.
We can do it.
Let's see. Okay, I can't really see it. Okay. All right, is that the very top, JC? That is, okay. So you can see at the very top where it says budget, range to date, year to date, and then what does it say at the very end? I think there's one more.
It also says year-to-date balance, encumbrance, and remaining budget.
Okay.
So encumbrance is, you know, what will still need to be spent. So you can see the very first, and this is my salary. Yeah. And the domestic partner, that is for my health insurance because I'm actually able to have Andy on my insurance. Even though I'm not married, that was like a huge win for Native culture right there, I think. We're married in ceremony, so it counts. And so that's my, you can see right there, that's what I make each month. And then the 772 is for the insurance for all of us that ESD pays out. Peers, that's my retirement. It keeps going down, retirement. These are all the other expenses that ESD has to pay, you know, such as the Medicare, Social Security tax, all the taxes, all the employment, paid leave Oregon, which took effect in June this year. So that's new. Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't realize that ADA was on here. I do have a medical disability. I don't think that really costs anybody though. MODA, this is my insurance for myself, my children, and Andy, my domestic partner. So that's what's paid each month for all of my benefits, insurance, retirement, everything else. Professional tech services, that's just flagged wrong. You can see it's Ohana Grinds. So that was the very first dinner coming back. So you can see each expense here. If you want me to pause the screen, let me know anywhere. But this one is, you know, that was 526. Mileage, I get reimbursed for my mileage. So you can see that there, May, June, and then it keeps going, March. So that's the check that they pay me. Cellular, I have a work phone. That's the cost of that each month. And then supplies, this is where it gets a little kind of cooler to look at other than just my stuff, I think. But you can see it's labeled by invoice, whether it's Teresa or JC. And yeah, that's the cost of regalia, all of the meals for our culture nights, and all of our large events. So do you guys want me to pause here for a little bit? Does anyone have questions so far?
Let's see.
Does anyone have any questions?
What was the $6,000 charge? Was that if you go
6,000.
down the next page?
That was the blankets.
Nope, that's for Vanessa. Oh, okay, so that was 1116. So that was our catering fees for the Native Heritage Festival that we had in Grants Pass. So that was the
yeah.
meal for that event. And you can see cashier's check.
Oh, okay.
So that was what that was paid. And, you know, like always, all of our largest is always the food cost. So you can see we also had our Christmas holiday gathering at SOU. That one was $2,600. So anytime it's a really large expense, you can almost guarantee that it's for meals for larger events.
Yeah.
Here's
the
our
blankets
catering
on here?
service for the graduation event. That one was $1,540. And I think really they kind of give us a gift of that, you know, that probably should have been a little more, but yeah.
Agreed. Are the blankets on there?
May. So I think that's going to be down under supplies possibly.
Yeah.
Because that was like an added one. Yeah, I don't know. It might not have come out yet.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing too. Okay, so that's where the budget is. Echo, you said you had some questions?
Yes. I was wondering if we had heard anything back about the Klamath Fall Games. I know that we were supposed to do an end of the year game with them, and every month it's kind of still hasn't really been decided, or they haven't been communicating. So I was wondering if that was still going to be in effect. And I know that we said after they took that out of the budget and then whatever was left with the budget, we were talking about what to do with it, like investing in more regalia or supplies and stuff for the future like that. But none of that could be like determined until we knew if they were going to take that out of the budget, because that's a really large event. So that's like anywhere from like a 10 to, you know, 15, even more $1,000 type of event, like difference in the budget at the end of it. So is there any word on that? Are we?
No, yeah, we've been unsuccessful with any attempts to have it or host an event in Klamath. And frankly, Teresa and I's last day is the 8th. So I don't believe that's going to happen. You know, we've reached out of hosting it in Chiloquin. But you know, our one contact, she's just so busy, you know, and that's understandable. And then also, you know, it's kind of an awkward situation because they have their own Indian education department. And so we were trying to support something that they were already doing without stepping on toes, you know. So it was like, let's come in, you know, we want to support you in your program. But the ESSER was awarded to ESD, which covers 3 counties. But our Indian Ed program does not. It covers 2 counties. So it's always been kind of an awkward thing. Yeah, but currently
we're not like we don't have like we don't have to donate to it. It doesn't, there's not like in our contract and our grants that we have to give them a certain allotment of the money or anything like that. So it's not going to come back like they didn't get their portion of it.
or
So
their
then,
share. Yeah.
their
So
share.
that's
So
more of a Teresa and I thing. We just want to feel really good about supporting them and their county and their students.
Yeah, of course.
You know, with this money, because it was such a blessing for all of us.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, there's not something like specifically like this needs to be spent here, this needs to be spent there. We created it basically with student voice and family driven. So that means we had a little bit of a plan that it would be wellness centered, but it was interviewing families, hosting listening sessions. What do you want? And for Klamath, they had voted on physical activity and field trips. And so we had actually already provided everything for all our large events. Klamath was also included. And we've also had events at Klamath already. So Teresa and I do feel good about that. But, you know, if we can get something together, you know, really quickly, kind of haphazardly, you know, we're going for it. Absolutely, 100%. But if not, then, you know, I feel good knowing we sure tried our best.
Okay. So yeah, that was kind of a question. If that's not happening, then that should leave an extra portion left over in the budgeting. And then, I don't know if you guys had talked more or if that's something like that everybody gets to kind of chip in an opinion on like what should be done with like leftover budgeting for the year. I'm not really sure how that works, but, and then also, I was contacted by Fish, and he is a performer that's going to be performing in Ashland. And he had mentioned that he was working with the Indian Education Program to do a necklace making workshop. But on the time frame wise, it's like it's the end of the year. This is our last meeting and all that. And are you making one more newsletter for like the summer events, or is
So
that?
I took the last week of May off, so I didn't do a newsletter. Teresa took that on to make the last one for us, so that it wasn't on me because I wasn't at work for 10 days. And so yes,
Well,
she's working on it currently.
I'm happy to speak to that. I'm happy to speak to that.
Okay.
So I'm not sending the newsletter out just yet because I want to send out the results of the survey that we did for the ESSER at the very beginning, which was 2 years ago. So I want to put that together, but then I also want to put out the second level, I guess, if you will, or the next phase of a survey for everyone to do. It'll be an anonymous survey so that we can get really accurate information and data for this specific thing. So I want to do that piece. So that's why that hasn't come out just yet, because I need to make sure that all of that is in order. The Fish thing, Fish is, he contacted me directly, and we did schedule something. So he's going to be coming on Thursday. I'm actually sending things out. I didn't get everything confirmed until this afternoon because we
This
had a
Thursday?
discrepancy.
this
We had a
Thursday?
discrepancy
No,
in,
everything's getting scheduled on the same day.
I
Always.
know, I know. And we had a discrepancy in the budget, and so I wasn't able to confirm anything until I heard from the business office. So, anyways, we just got that all confirmed, so I'll be sending that out tonight. He can only accept 20 people at once to do this class, but it is going to be a free event for all Indian Ed families. So whoever registers first gets to be there first.
And
As far as
supplies are included too, as
and
well.
supplies are included. Yeah, exactly. Everything is included. So
What
as
kind of
far
necklace making is it?
it's, you know, did you remember at the
I
powwow
can grab
where our
mine, Teresa.
okay.
Spice, it's moist.
Yeah, it's a 3-strand necklace, and it's just so beautiful.
It was at the powwow behind where the MC and Uncle David West was, right next to the Indian Education booth. There was a big table full of the like triple and quadruple strands of necklaces, and that's what was his work. So,
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
beautiful.
exactly.
Very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
They're like, I think he was selling them for like
Woo!
$200 a piece. So it's kind of
Yeah,
a,
they're yeah. Yeah, the
They're
one
pretty
that I
yeah,
got.
it's kind
bougie.
of fancy.
It
And
is
it's
very
hand
fancy.
Yeah,
smoked
pretty
leather,
bougie.
and he goes into all the teachings.
Ooh.
But he's a really great community partner. He worked with TAB, which was tribal attendants throughout the state of Oregon. So
Mhm.
he's awesome. And he just was like, oh, I'm coming to town. He knows Teresa, and we've seen him at conferences and stuff. And so it did kind of come together super last minute, more last minute than I think anything. But yeah, it was like, we certainly want to support him and
Mhm.
also have him feel really welcomed here because of his knowledge and experience, because he's a presenter at all the schools. And
Yeah.
he's implemented brand new policies right out of ODE's Indian Ed, and they've been extremely successful. Yeah,
Beautiful.
so that
So,
would be
we'll just wait for like a newsletter, maybe like a little, I mean, I hate to have
I'm
you guys
gonna
do extra
send.
work, but a RSVP like thing through Parent
Yes.
Square or something simple
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
Awesome. And then
I'm doing all that tonight. I'm doing all that
awesome.
tonight.
Sorry, Teresa.
Yeah.
You're
And
almost there. You're
Jackie
almost
has
there.
her
You're almost
hand up.
and then on another event, now
Jackie
I
has her
know,
hand up, Echo.
oh, sorry, I can't
Jackie,
see hands up.
I know.
It's all good. I know he'll be at the university on the 7th.
Yeah.
Friday.
And because they're doing something for the, oh gosh, what is it? It's like the multicultural student, like
Like a graduation party, multicultural
no,
graduation.
it's not the graduation. They're having like this big like barbecue type thing in the courtyard. Because Native graduation is next week.
Cool.
I do.
And can I go back to your?
I do have a flyer for that if you guys need it. There's a
Okay.
flyer for Friday.
I'd like
We've
to go
already
back
sent
to
it
your.
out. Yeah. Go ahead, Teresa. What was it?
I wanted to make sure that we answer all three of the questions because the other question was, how are we going to determine what's remaining in the budget and how does that
Yes.
usually go? That's a really important piece. The way that that ESD is looking at budgeting the remaining balance is, of course, we have the expense with this last event with fish in the making the necklaces. But then we also have, because the budget is going to be very different next year, what ESD is proposing and what it looks like they're going to do, unless you all get together and say, no, we don't agree with this, but that they will be taking the remaining budget because the end of this funding, which is the biennium, which means it's a 2-year funding period for this money, it has a beginning and an ending date, and the ending date is September, I think. Yeah, September.
Yeah.
And at the beginning, it was supposed to be June, but they extended it to September. And what that has done is that it has given us the opportunity to be able to pay for JC's salary for the last week of August and for September. And then any of the other expenses that are coming up that haven't yet gone through the business office. So that's what we're looking at now. How do you all feel about that?
So we also received a separate grant through the Department of Oregon Department of Education, which basically, so our attendance is so low that our Title VI dollars isn't even enough to pay Teresa's full salary, benefits, Medicare, business office expense of writing the checks. So because our attendance numbers decrease so much, they only have about 80% of one salary from the federal government. So what they're doing, we got a Oregon Department of Education grant, and it is basically $200 per enrolled student with the Title VI 506 form. And so they were going to use that for extra staff, and paying the remainder of Teresa's budget as well. And so that's what they're doing with that. Because I was offered employment for next year. Even though the grant I work out of ends, there was a secondary grant that they applied for. But they would also, you know, certain things would be remaining out of the ESSER. And like always, we ask the students, we ask the parents at culture nights already for next year so that we would have an idea. So that was provided to all of you. I don't think anyone's seen Jackson's, but it was like on my desk. It's just a huge whiteboard with like 150 things. Josephine County, it was like 3 things. They want to work on relationship and community building, you know, like really just kind of simple stuff. So we already asked that, but at the start of every single one of our culture night, we do an interest survey for the new year. You know, we're extremely proud to be student focused and parent driven. That means we're actually empowering it, and it's student voice that forms our program. So that's not going to change. We were talking about getting more supplies out of the remainder of this to have for next year, because like I said, there's like no money. That's, you know, there's none. But we would love feedback, you know, ideas, advice, how you're feeling about it. You know, I've certainly offered not to come back on. I've offered to come back on part-time. And I've offered not to come back on at all if it means losing culture night or losing the basic of the program. Because I am really fortunate that I was a parent first in this program. So my children are in the program, and, you know, I've seen what it does for my own family. So that's not something we're going to, you know, take away. So if it's a benefit to have Josephine County staff, which would be myself, I believe it would be, you know, because Teresa can't be in both places. So you know, but really we would love advice, anything that you, any input at all. Go ahead, Angelica.
Angelica, can you hear us?
Yeah, it was weird. My camera wasn't frozen, but everyone else was frozen. Now it's
my internet, so I apologize. Go ahead, Angelica.
Oh, well, are we gonna take it to a vote, or what are you thinking?
Taking the how the budget should be.
Yeah.
No, we don't need to, unless you want something different than how it's being done, what ESD is doing now. And then really we wouldn't vote on the budget itself. We would have to vote on how to approach the administrators at ESD
Gotcha.
to change that.
Well, I think, I mean, I'm for this plan, and I think if we had any remaining budget, supplies would be a great investment. I don't know. I mean, I know we just got a huge donation of beads, but I think like fabric, oh my gosh. Ribbon is so expensive. If we can catch like a sale, like one of those 2 for 1 sales, just like stock up, because it really adds up.
Yeah, agreed. We're definitely keeping all of that in mind.
And we'll also like poll parents and students again too, and see, and part of that survey and why it's so important to get it out is going to do that because we need to do that now.
Yeah.
But before we leave for the summer. So
So
it's gonna
Mhm.
hopefully go
Yeah.
more in depth with, activities and ideas.
Mhm. So if there are any questions that you all want me to include in the survey, can you email that to me or just message me on Facebook with those questions so that I can include it in the survey? That would be great. And I also, it sounds really scary to have these very frank conversations about our budget. But I want to give you some hope in the sense that this is the state of education. It happens like this all the time for different programs. It's not just Indian Ed. However, the hard part for Indian education is that we get the smallest pots of money. So that's what makes sustaining programs like ours very challenging. And because we know this, we've started, I said before, I have a list of local and statewide organizations that we can apply to. And as soon as their application is open, I put that on my calendar already. I have a discussion with people already in the next 2 weeks with the, what is their name? Anyways, one of my girlfriends works for them, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember the name of this darn organization.
I've already had a meeting with the Ford Family Foundation. Is that the one you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, but to get the details all worked out and amounts and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
and then we have other organizations that I know that will
Community
donate
grants,
because,
All Care,
yeah,
Jackson Care Connect.
yeah,
There's a lot of available resources. But the
yeah.
biggest thing is ESSER came from COVID relief. That money ends. So what the biggest thing though to grow our program is to grow in our enrollment. So 506 forms, letting people know, marketing our, program as best we can. Because for federal dollars, we're paid per student enrolled in our program. And with our enrollment down, that's what happens. So
And at the beginning of the school year, can we do a big push, like maybe start visiting schools to talk about the program, or even like have a little group of students come with parents and, you gals to
yeah.
come.
The biggest thing though is we are supplemental, not supplant. So we can't pull our Indian Ed kids ever during class time. They can't miss school ever for anything that we do because we're also a federal program, so it's like both
They
money
could,
from the
come
government
then at
being
their
used
own
at the same
school,
time.
They
But we
could-
do have Alyssa who graduated. And
Yeah.
she is a lovely dancer, so I love those types of ideas. And I like that. Yeah.
Could students, if they were, at their own school, present at like assemblies and
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
that's
that?
up to the parents. I've done it just as a parent, not with Indian Ed attached. Echo's done stuff, like absolutely. So our multicultural night, that was Stephanie that scheduled all of that. Was like, I'm Cow Creek. Yeah. So absolutely. And Teresa and I would certainly support going forward with that. But that's a great idea, get kids interested in what we're doing,
My kids have Fridays off and most schools have school on Fridays. So, and my
Right.
kids are Regaliad. That is something that I would be interested in offering time to go and work with as well if there's schools that would accept us to
Yeah.
do presentations. Also, maybe like pamphlet push, like just pamphlet, like more like they sit at home in their backpacks and the parents are like, oh, look at this cool. So maybe like a large pamphlet push throughout the school districts and the classes. Cool pictures.
I think Teresa has her hand up.
I know I can't see. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
So what I wanted to share is that that's a perfect segue into going into the workshops and trainings and things that I'm doing. One of the biggest ones that I'm being asked to do right now is Indian Ed 101, because where we have ODE has told the school districts in the state of Oregon, you all now have to take your district plan through the tribes that are assigned to you and get their approval. And so because of this tribal consultation that they're expected, okay, thanks, Angelica. Um, because because the school districts are being expected to do these tribal consultations now, there's two things that happen. The first one is they really have to start understanding tribal culture, the way, you know, just our indigenous perspective. What does that look like in the institution? What does that look like in schools? And so they're building relationship, and that's the first really big one, is that they're now getting to the place where they're required to start building relationship. And we all know our tribal people, it's like you better show up. If you're going to build relationship with me, you better show up. And so that's part of what the Indian Ed 101 training is about. The other really important, wonderful piece about this that I'm feeling so blessed and like, yes, this is great, is that this is how we begin to create systemic change, because we are putting some of this responsibility on the system to create space for our Indigenous students, so that in their registration process, they're putting in that process the Indian Ed form, right? And that they're including on their website all of the things that we're offering, that they're doing the newsletter, that the staff within these school districts and at these school sites are actually talking about Indian Ed and the Native students and the 9 tribes of Oregon. So those are all really positive things that are happening. So that I know we only have like 1 minute left, so I'm going to do this quick. We have every year ESD offers a big summit, and it's usually a racial equity summit. And now it's just an equity summit, and now it's just becoming more and more cohesive in the trainings that they're offering, and it's just for educators. And you all, as being members of the CPC, you are all considered educators. So please go to the keep your eye out on PD Networks. And if you are interested in any of the classes that they're offering, I'm going to be offering Indian Ed 101 at the event. It's the first week in August. Or is it the first week? I think it's the first week in August. But I'm going to be offering Indian Ed 101 3 times throughout the school year next year. So you'll have other opportunities to go to that specific one. I will also be offering tribal history, shared history throughout the year next year. So that's another one that I'll be sure and let you know. But for this big equity summit, there's a training there that I know that you all heard me mention called Taking It Up, which is a racial equity training. And I really, really, really encourage you all to go to get the history, the Oregon history on policy and race within the state, what that looks like, and also the impact that it has in our school district. And you're also going to get a very strong sense of the climate in our school districts and with educators, and what they know and what they don't know around Indigenous cultures in Oregon. And that just is very helpful in advocating for your students. And it's very helpful in having conversation in school districts. And as leaders in the community, you're going to have a stronger foundation on having these, because these conversations are just automatically there. When you start showing up in your own community, they're going to start asking these questions, and sometimes we don't know the answer to all of them, but this is a really good training to create that foundation for you. And if you are interested in doing a facilitator track, that is available for you as well. So those are the two big ones. The other one that I've mentioned before that I will for sure do next school year is the bias incident training. And also we're working on, as part of the bias incident, you'll get trained on how to address it within your specific situation, but also the policies on what supports you as a Indigenous person in your school. Like, how do I handle this? How do I handle this at the site level? How do I handle this at the state level if I need to? Because there's a lot of people who just simply do not know that they're causing harm to our students, and it just takes education. And sometimes it's not just education, it's like, okay, we really have to have a sit down and figure this out, and these are the steps we're going to take because it's important. That's one piece. The other piece is we have a team of 4 people within our leadership, which is Randall, Ashley, Keely, and Jared, and they have all completed the what is it called, Randall? Why am I completely blanking?
Restorative justice.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. They they completed the facilitation training for restorative justice process. So we're working on creating that process through ESD so that they will be called to go into schools when they need it. Right now it's just JC and me, and I would say that 80% of my job is doing that right there, is going in and mediating between families and school districts. So that's going to be a really big help there. And I think that's it. And I know I went over way too much. Are there any questions?
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to I don't know how to raise my hand on here and I can't see your guys' hand raised, but will those links be shared over throughout, even though it's like summer break? Is a lot of those links going to be shared through the parent square?
Yes.
And is it going to stay active even though it is summertime and we're in the summertime zone? That'll still be.
So, yeah, just so you know, I agreed to just offer a few hours on a timesheet so that I can just keep people informed. I'm also doing I'm visiting tribes because of the tribal consultation piece. So I'm going to be doing that this summer on a timesheet. So I will definitely keep everyone informed.
And also, while I have everyone here, I never got last meeting's attendance, which I need. So if anyone knows the number of people, just let me know that, just so I can finish my report. That'd be great. Or the notes, that'd be great. Or anything at all. So I've got the attendance, the notes, and the agenda for tonight, and that's it for the CPC. But we did share a lot regarding the budget. I'm going to send this out. If anyone has any questions, we're available. So if you want a phone call, you want a messenger and see my face, because I like that, you know, whatever. You know, we want everyone to feel good and that we've, you know, done this in a good way. So we're as transparent as possible, and we always have been. But this has been a weird sitch, you know, because I always knew my employment would end this year. And so now it's like, oh, well, there's this extra funding, you know, we could possibly keep you on type deal. Yeah. But my biggest concern really is just the quality of our program. It's, you know, not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So even if it's 4 events, but they're very nice, you know, so it's just something to think about. And, you know, we want your input, your guidance, your experiences, you know.
Yeah.
That's why we turn to you all. Go ahead, Echo.
2 questions. When will you guys have answers for that? Like what they are going to do for the steps forward for next school year, like so that we will
just
kind of
answered it. So it's going to be the
it's kind of been up in the air though. Like, are we gonna do like culture night still? Are they gonna hire you on? I know that, but like when they let you guys know and they do finally give you guys, is that going, do you think that it will be by the time that the next school year starts? Is it going to
Oh,
be?
Yeah, so it was offered already. And also we will do culture nights. And that was like the big caveat. It was like, you know, I'm not gonna accept this if it takes away from culture nights. Teresa's going to do hers every other week instead of every week. We are gonna look at additional funding. We still have to keep the $10 rule, you know, keep it as cheap as possible, that kind of stuff. But yeah, culture nights, I think, are really the cornerstone of our program, and we've seen a lot of growth with our enrollment. But also, as you've all seen, you know, we have almost 300 students. How many do you see at culture nights? You know, so also it's like, is it benefiting all of our students? No, it's not. But I think what we do have is very special, you know, for our regular 35 that come to each one. So yeah, and then also can we, you know, keep up that growth, you know, because we'd seen from the first year to the second year, just at Josephine County and Jackson too, we've seen a lot of increase in numbers. So if that continues, our culture nights are even going to be more expensive next year, and we're going to have less funding to sustain it. You know, so it's a lot to think about. But yeah, I think culture nights, even though, you know, it's 30, I think that's really, you know, where it's at. The biggest thing for next year though is over, I want to say it was like almost 70% of the survey that has been done so far that was sent out last newsletter and sent through Parent Square for the intake form, they want tutoring. So that'll be something freestanding that I offer once a week. And it's going to be Zoom, or it's going to be like moving around locations to different schools. So it can be in person as well. But that's 70% of families, it needs to happen. Yes, yes. Send Teresa whatever survey questions you want for that survey. So it's going to really help us finish out the week, hopefully get input for next year's program. Yeah.
Awesome.
Does anyone have any other questions? Just shoot them out.
I had one more question. I don't,
Yeah.
does anybody else have a hand up? No?
Or if
Okay.
anyone wants to go, you're more than welcome to go. Or you can stay on.
It was before Teresa left. We were supposed to, she's doing with the fire dancing, with the fire dancers with the Ashland Theater, and the Indian Educational Program students were supposed to be coming and tickets to be part of that. Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about it. It's the
that?
first I've heard. The
Yeah, me
fire
too.
dancers at SOU.
Yeah, the fire dancers for the Ashland Theater. Teresa was working with the theater, and the Indian educational students were going to be invited. And, yeah,
Are you
still there? Yeah, you're still there. Hi, yes, you're still there.
Oh,
Was there
okay.
any, yeah, good, I didn't lose you. It was just one more question, I promise. And it was something that was going to be rolled over into June or July even. But the fire dancer performance at no, that never went. When we
I never got anything. I never got any contact or any requests or anything.
Oh, well, there were
I'm not
flyers.
even familiar with that at all. I don't know
Flyers
if
and
it was Teresa. Teresa did work with Anima Mundi Productions. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
for the
that's
quartet that came, but yeah.
What, you saw a flyer, Echo?
Yeah, there was a flyer that they were supposed to be coming and performing there. And
And
I
it
remember
had Indian Ed on there?
not the Indian Ed program, but when I called you about trying to make contact with the fire dancers to get to the powwow, you had said that you
Oh.
were working with them.
Oh,
The
oh,
Aztec dancers.
Aztec, okay.
Fire dancers,
I-
Aztec dancers. Yeah,
My
sorry.
mind was, I thought you were talking about those.
I thought it was
skinny
something
fire
cool.
dancers.
Yeah, I was like, ooh.
Oh, no, I love them
The
too.
Aztecs are really
Oh,
cool though.
okay.
Mm.
Yes, yes, that is happening soon, and I will send something out to you guys. I just had, that's another phone call that I'm gonna be making right after this because they called me 3 times today. So I will call them back and get clear on what those pieces are, and I'll definitely let you all know so that you can come and
Yeah, it's the
participate
first
in
I've
that if you
heard. That sounds cool. Those Aztec dancers were amazing.
Yeah, so they'll be doing, there's gonna be a community event that I'll be moderating. So there'll be a panel and I'll be moderating the panel. They're gonna show the film that they made and that the Aztec dancers were in. And I want to say that there was something else. There's a meal maybe at some point. Anyways, I'll let you all know once I know all the details. But
Great.
yeah. Okay, I'm so glad we figured that out. I thought nobody better be using Indian Ed without telling us.
Right.
I am not gonna be happy about that.
Good. Awesome. And I'm happy that's still happening. I'm excited.
Yeah,
So, and I hadn't
yeah,
heard
it is.
anything about it. And I know that you guys getting off of work and, you know, I don't want to bug you guys during the summertime, but I know that was supposed to be coming up. The same with
Yeah,
like,
I'll let you all know about that for sure.
Well, Teresa will be timesheeting. So she's, yeah, it's like outside of our, you know, like contract. So she'll be paid from the ESSER, but it will be like kind of beforehand in a little pot.
Yeah,
So
actually,
that,
I'm gonna get paid from something else because there's not
oh,
enough money
good.
in ESSER.
Okay. So it's like, yeah.
I
So
have a
whatever
Okay, I
hours,
really-
it's like a physical timesheet. It's completely different. It's not title safe.
Yeah.
Just quick question, maybe on this, I don't know if we have a start date for the program for the fall, but if we do, maybe that could just go on the upcoming to look forward to next school year on our newsletter.
Yeah, I'll send that out too as well because I haven't checked the start back dates for all the schools, and so that's how we determine by looking at all those dates. And I'm just literally exhausted and cannot wait for this year to be over.
I feel you.
And we also have, just as teachers, like we start kind of right when school begins, but we also have the week of professional development we have to do, make sure all that's up to date, you know, and all that. So I think we started rocking and rolling maybe like 2-3 weeks out of that start date, but that would be good to include as well.
Okay. Thank you all.
yes.
Yeah, I love you guys. I'm so proud of you all. You did such great work. We are
Jessie,
a
how are
team.
you doing? My goodness. Oh, did she pop out? Nope, you're still there. Hey, Jessie. That was a lot for being brand new to our program, not knowing our lingo, not knowing any, you know, so thank you for staying.
Bye. I'm
This one's
leaving.
like the, all right,
Bye.
bye.
Love you.
This one's like the nuts and bolts of the program, but our council oversees our program just like any school board. So it's great to have their input and guidance on, you know, making sure that we're held accountable also, but you know, it's nice to have someone looking at us as we look at everything else, you know, type deal. It's like oversight. So
Thank you for having the meeting, and I was happy to be a part of it.
yeah,
Well,
so
not
there
really
is
be part of it,
some
watch
sort
it.
of necklace event happening, and there'll be Aztec dancers this summer. Teresa will continue to update Parent Square with large events and that kind of stuff that happen.
Alright, I love you guys. I have to go.
Thank you.
Thanks,
everyone.
Jackie.
Happy summer.
Have a good night.
Now I gotta go do coffee. Bye, guys.
Bye, Angelica. Bye, guys.
Bye. And I'll see you in
Bye.
a few minutes if anyone has any questions after the recording ends. So thank you. Good night, everyone.